Have you ever tried to say to go in Russian? If so, I'm sure you're struggling a lot with choosing the right form, because it's actually difficult to see the difference between so many various ways to say it. Well, now you have me. My name is Lina and I'm here to help and to explain all you need to know about these words. As we know, it's easy to use in English. You can just say, I'm going to the store, I went home, I will go there later. In any tense, you can just take the verb to go and not to puzzle over different meanings and constructions. In Russian, we always have to think about what we mean and which one of the million variations we have to take. So let's start with the first Russian verb идти. This one specifically means to go somewhere by foot. And let's look at the example. In present tense, you can say, for example, я иду в магазин. Я иду, ты идешь, он, она идет, мы идем, вы идете, они идут. Then, in past tense, я шел домой 15 минут. Я, ты, он шел, я, ты, она шла, мы, вы, они шли, and оно шло. And the last one, in future, я буду идти домой долго. Я буду, ты будешь, он, она будет, мы будем, вы будете, они будут. So here you're specifically saying that you're going somewhere by foot. The next one, that's the verb ехать. And this is the opposite of the previous verb we had. So this is literally to go somewhere by transport. And here I can use any transport. Car, bus, train, plane, ship, doesn't matter, anything. And let's look at the examples. For example, in present tense you can say я еду в Италию. Я еду, ты едешь, он, она едет, мы едем, вы едете, они едут. The next one, in past, я ехал домой на такси. Я ехал, она ехала, мы, вы, они ехали, and оно ехало. And in future, я буду ехать туда 20 минут. Я буду, ты будешь, он, она будет, мы будем, вы будете, они будут. I want you to be careful when you conjugate these two verbs in present tense, because they are super similar and it's really easy to confuse them. So, идти и ехать. Я иду, я еду. Ты идешь, ты едешь. Он, она идет, он, она едет. Мы идем, мы едем. Вы идете, вы едете. And они идут, они едут. You see, in the past tense I specified the transport I use, by taxi. But in other two, I didn't. Just by saying it, we understand the fact we weren't walking. For instance, let's take the sentence about Italy. Я еду в Италию. By saying it, you understand that I wasn't walking there, which is impossible. Well, technically it's possible if you live in Switzerland or France and you decided to challenge yourself. Then you can say я иду в Италию and be really proud of yourself. But let's take, for example, Russia. Okay, also possible if you're a super motivated person, you can go there by foot. But let's say Brazil. Here it's really impossible, just because at first you have to swim. And that's it. So you see what I'm trying to say. So far, everything is super clear and easy, right? You probably started to think that Russian is not that difficult as people describe it. But let's move on to the next verb. And the next one is the verb ходить, which is also to go and also by foot. What? Okay, so at first let's look at the examples. In present, я хожу на работу каждый день. Я хожу, ты ходишь, он, она ходит, мы ходим, вы ходите, они ходят. Then, in past, я ходил в магазин вчера. Я, ты, он ходил, я, ты, она ходила, мы, вы, они ходили, and оно ходило. And in future, я буду ходить в зал каждый понедельник. Я буду, ты будешь, он, она будет, мы будем, вы будете, они будут. So, what is the difference between идти и ходить then? The most attentive people probably noticed that before, with the verb идти in sentences, I used some time indicators, like 15 minutes for a long time, and here, with ходить, I used every day, every Monday. Can you already feel the difference? So, the first one, идти, we use when we want to make an accent on the process of the action of walking. So here we have to have some time limit. It can be anything, 1 minute, 20 minutes, a day, a month, a year. And here, ходить, the accent is on the repetition of the action. So that's why here we use such indicators as every day, every month, every year, sometimes, always, never. Another difference is that the verb идти is one directional motion and ходить, that's multidirectional. So when we said the sentence «Я ходил в магазин вчера», we wanted to say that I went to the store and I came back home, which makes sense. So this one can be any multidirectional motion, there and back, around, and something like this. If you say here «Я шел в магазин вчера», you want to point to the process of the action. So you're saying I was going to the store yesterday, and you need to say something else, like and what? What happened next? Okay, and let's move on to the next verb, ездить. That's another one for going by transport. Let's look at the examples. In present tense you can say «Я езжу на такси каждый день». Я езжу, ты ездишь, он, она ездит, мы ездим, вы ездите, они ездят. Then, in past, я ездил в Италию в прошлом году. Я ездил, она ездила, мы ездили, and оно ездило. And in future tense, я буду ездить туда каждый год. Я буду, ты будешь, он, она будет, мы будем, вы будете, они будут. And now, when you already know the difference between идти и ходить, you can easily say the difference here between ехать и ездить. It's totally the same logic. Ехать, we want to point to the process of the action and one directional motion, and ездить, that's repetition and multi-directional motion. Great, now we know 4 verbs, and we have left 2 more equally important. And the first one, that's the verb пойти. Don't hate me please, but that's another one for walking. And this one we use when we want to point to the result of the action. And this verb has no present because obviously you cannot finish something in present tense. So let's look at the examples. In past. Я пошел в магазин, потому что у меня не было хлеба. Я, ты, он пошел, я, ты, она пошла, мы, вы, они пошли, and оно пошло. And future. Я пойду на работу завтра. Я пойду, ты пойдешь, он, она пойдет, мы пойдем, вы пойдете, они пойдут. So you went to the store and you came back, but here you simply want to make an emphasis on the accomplishment, on the fact of a completed action. You can say here «я ходил» because it'll be super similar. But if you say «я ходил в магазин вчера», it'll be the accent on the process, but the meaning is similar. The same for future. For future we can say «я пойду», also just a simple fact, no further information. As you can guess, the last verb, that's another one for going by transport. Поехать, but describing the result or the fact of a completed action. So let's look at the examples. Я поехал на работу на такси. Я, ты, он поехал. Я, ты, она поехала. Мы, вы, они поехали. And оно поехало. And for future, я поеду домой на метро. Я поеду, ты поедешь, он, она поедет. Мы поедем, вы поедете, они поедут. The same logic. Я поеду и я поехал. Just a simple fact. Now you definitely know how to apply these words in Russian. Of course, it's not really easy, but at least try to enjoy it. Every time when you need to say it in Russian, imagine yourself as a mine disposal. Make your move, but do it really carefully and consciously. Obviously, nobody is gonna die if you make a mistake, but you better think ahead. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel because I'll be posting much more useful videos for you in order to help in learning my language.